Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energy healer and mindset mentor. You've landed in the space you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about how to actually manifest the life that you crave. This is the podcast that's here to shake you awake. It's time to unapologetically step into the woman you came here to be, the one who effortlessly attracts everything she desires. Let's flow. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, we are diving into how I stopped attracting emotionally unavailable, narcissistic, love bombing men who won't prioritize me and manifested my now fiancé, which is a man who loves me unconditionally and treats me like a queen, calms my central nervous system, makes me feel safe, seen, loved, secure, and all the things that we actually want in a relationship. All right. So if you keep attracting men who won't commit, I get it. I've been there, and it's not bad luck. It's not because all of the men in the world are trash. It's because there's something going on in your energy or the way that you're treating yourself that is making you an energetic match for these types of situations to happen in the men you are dating. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing how I went from a cycle of emotionally unavailable men to manifesting my fiancé. By the end of this episode, you'll know a couple of the shifts that changed everything for me and how you can start applying them right now. So let's set the scene with what was going on prior to just doing a lot of inner work and actually taking radical responsibility for the types of men that I was attracting into my life. Because you guys, for the longest time, I had this story and this belief going on repeat in my brain that was constantly just like, oh, I have a bad picker, or all men are trash, or all men are stupid. I literally had a magnet on my fridge growing up. That was my mom's, and it said, all men are stupid. And if you forget, they will remind you. Let's just laugh about that one really quickly. And the moment that I started to do the inner work, the moment that I started to skyrocket my self-love and self-image is literally the moment that changed everything for me. And I went from being in a victim mentality and blaming anything but myself for the types of people that I was attracting into my life, and finally took that responsibility, started to do the inner work, and started to change the way that I felt and thought and the way that I treated myself. And by doing that, I then became an energetic match for my dream person. I had to become my own dream person before attracting my dream person. So I think that there's people that really want like a boyfriend, right? But the thing is if you just say that you want a boyfriend, you could get a boyfriend. You could pick a boyfriend off of the street in 5 seconds if you really wanted to. But the difference here is we don't want just a boyfriend. We want a masculine man who calms our central nervous system, makes us feel safe, seen, loved, secure, all the things that we want to feel in a relationship, right? And when we're just like la-di-da, unsure of like what we want, which girl, if that is you, if you are in the era of like having fun and living your best life, incredible. This podcast episode probably isn't for you, because I'm talking to the woman who is ready to be fully devoted to in love and in life. Okay. I'm talking to the woman who is ready to find her dream man and to finally be in a relationship where she feels safe, seen, loved, heard, supported, and all of the things. So if you are going back to what I was saying, like if you are stuck in this victim mentality and you aren't willing to take radical responsibility, you're going to continue to attract the same cycles, the same men in different relationships. And this, I had to learn this the hard way. I probably dealt with this from the time I started dating until I was 30 years old, which was 3 years ago now, which is so crazy. I can't believe I'm 33. But it wasn't until I finally took radical responsibility that I was able to look at my own shit and be like, oh, I'm the common denominator here. Like, I am the reason that I keep attracting the same type of people. Okay, well, now I know that I'm the common denominator, but like, how do I fix this? And that's what I'm about to be teaching you guys. So if you have ever felt like you are just like constantly attracting the same guy in different relationships, this episode is for sure for you. And I know what it's like to experience situationships, to feel like I was the almost girl, like I was the girl that they dated before they met their wife, right? Or I was the one who they needed to date in order to realize that they really loved their ex-girlfriend. Like that's happened to me multiple times and it's not fun. And it's because I wasn't giving wife energy. Like I wasn't giving devoted. I wasn't giving like I choose myself, therefore you choose me. I wasn't giving I know my worth. I wasn't giving like I am enough. Okay. And it wasn't until I healed all of that that I then attracted a relationship that mirrored that back to me. Before then, I was attracting men in my life who very much so showed me where my energy was out of alignment with what I said that I want. I wanted for so long to be in a relationship like the one that I'm in right now. And it wasn't until I actually healed the parts of me that were not in alignment with who I am now and made me an energetic match for the relationship that I'm in now that things really started to change. So maybe you have felt this too. Maybe you've been chasing fucking breadcrumbs. Maybe you've questioned yourself. Maybe you keep wondering, why does this keep happening to me? Well, honey, I get it. I've been there and it's time to shift. It's time to change. And it was like, I'm going to tell you guys the moment that things changed for me and I realized like, holy fuck, I am the common denominator. I do need to change. And it wasn't until, oh gosh, I was 29 and I had just gotten dumped. And this man had dumped me before, a few months before, and then begged for me back. And I went back, silly me, which there's a whole other thing. Like, I don't believe in second chances anymore. Like, and he was like the last second chance that I was going to give until like no period, like not until like period, end of story. Like he was like I learned my lesson of giving second chances after that. I'm like, no, once a person shows you their true colors, like it is what it is. I've seen enough and I will cut you off very quickly. So when I experienced this breakthrough or breakthrough, breakup, however you want to look at it, I was like, oh my gosh, like I honestly put myself in this situation. Like I decided to go back to this person, even though he showed me his true colors. I thought that he could change. I truly was putting everyone else's like opinion of me at the forefront. Like I wasn't putting myself first. I was making decisions based off of like, oh, well, this was like all really embarrassing and I don't want to be embarrassed and I don't want people to think about me or look at me in a certain light. So I'm going to do what makes me look the best when actually that wasn't at all what it made me look the best. What would have made me look the best is if I just walked away when I got dumped by him the first time. But I had to learn this lesson more than once. And you guys, fun fact about me, I got married when I was 23 years old and it was very fast. I think I knew him for about 6 months and then we got married because he went to the military. We did the whole like 3 month long boot camp where we wrote letters back and forth. And I was like in love with this guy. And I moved, I dropped everything I was doing and I just completely like did like like I'm not kidding you guys, I lost myself in that relationship, in that marriage. I went from somebody who like was completely like in her own, world and like taking care of myself, independent, didn't like wasn't dating, was single, was living her best single life and had a bunch of hobbies and was doing a bunch of different things. And then I meet this guy and I like completely threw all of it out the window and like got lost in the relationship and everything all of a sudden was just about him and not myself. And then when he asked me to marry him, of course I said yes. We got married the day he graduated boot camp. He was 18, I was 23. Yep, let's just LOL at myself. And he then like tells me, I'm gonna get stationed in Texas. I'm like, okay, great. I move all the way to Texas, we're together for 3 months. He ends up cheating on me with his ex-girlfriend, and now they're together, and they've been together ever since. I think, I don't know, I don't keep tabs on him, but that's besides the point. The fact of the matter is that I moved into things with this person really, really quickly, and then he cheated on me, and then he even after he cheated on me, then was like, I want you back. Like, will you take me back? And I thought about it. I thought, you guys, what? There's a past version of me who fucking thought about it. And I look back on that and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was such a learning lesson and pivoting. And I thought that I had learned that lesson. But then fast forward to me being 29 and, meeting this other guy. I had to experience that entire reflection all over again because apparently I didn't learn it or I forgot about it and I needed to learn it again. So my higher self was like, here you go. Here's this whole new situation that's pretty similar to the one that you experienced when you got married. Thankfully, I didn't get married to this guy, but it was talked about by him, mind you. And this guy, who I was married to, like that whole situation, like I ended up moving home, obviously from Texas, and I got my shit together and, just really focused on myself, but still was dating in the time where I was focusing on myself and still wasn't like doing the inner work and definitely didn't know anything like I know now. And so I think that that was why I had to experience it again, like intuitively looking in, was because I had to I had to experience it now that I know everything that I know, or like it was honestly like the catalyst that got me to be like, okay, no, now I'm actually going to really take the time to focus on myself and heal my past trauma and my shit. Because if I don't do this, this is going to be a continued thing. And I don't want that kind of bullshit. Right. So, and that was the catalyst. Like that was the fucking turning point where I was like, crying on the bathroom floor, devastated because I got gotten dumped. I should have been celebrating both times when I was 23. And then fast forward to when I was 29 and it happening again. Like he emotionally cheated on me. He was like texting other girls behind my back and all the things, which is a whole other reflection in and of itself. And the reflection there we'll get into in a second. But I was crying there on my bathroom floor, like just thinking that the fucking world was ending because, I was getting kicked out of my house. And I also at the time was letting go of a business that I had built from the ground up. It was the network marketing business that I always talk about. And it wasn't until I actually realized until I hit that rock bottom that I actually realized like, oh my God, no, like this is the perfect opportunity for me to do what I've been saying that I had wanted to do for literally years, like almost a decade, and never did because I was so busy trying to like chase the next fucking relationship so that I could check off the box that society pressured me into believing was the only option, which was like getting married and having kids and buying a house and going to college and all that shit, right? So when I finally had this epiphany and was like, I'm going to literally move towns. I'm getting out of town, Mom. Left all my friends, left my family, left everything, and just completely went all in on myself. And I locked myself in my little 250 square foot apartment that I lived in Costa Mesa for 3-4 months and really didn't do a whole lot other than go out to eat, grab coffee with a friend, walk the dog, go to the gym, go to work. Because at that point, I was working like 3 part-time jobs also while trying to build this new business. Or no, actually, I wasn't building the business at that point because I was still really just working on myself. But I had like 3 part-time jobs to like pay rent and get my life together because I had like let go of this network marketing business that I had, which going back to working for somebody else was like a whole situation in and of itself. But that's not what we're talking about today. So I finally do the work and I realize while doing the work, oh my God, like I am the reason. My energy is attracting these men. Like there are lessons that I have learned in the past, that I've been through in the past, but I didn't actually like learn the lesson. Like I needed to sit down and be like, okay, what was this trying to show me? Why was I an energetic match for this? And I didn't have those kinds of tools. I didn't have that kind of self-awareness to be like, okay, this is what I need to focus on in order to change things, right? And so I think that that's why that whole situation with, my ex-husband, which I don't even like to call him my husband because we were literally married for 3 months and then he cheated on me and then I moved home. And then it happened again when I was 29 with a different guy. So it wasn't until I really hit rock bottom and then started to climb my way out of rock bottom that things began to change. And the only way that things changed was because I finally was committed to myself and committed to doing the thing that I said that I was going to do for years. And it was when I started focusing on the devotion to myself, everything shifted. So I'm going to go ahead and get into some shifts that I made in the 4 months. And then when I did decide to step out of solitude and start to entertain the thought of men again, I'll kind of like go into what changed when it came to dating and then when I met Bryson. So one of the shifts that I made that really changed things was I stopped putting being in a relationship on a pedestal. I know that I mentioned like societal pressure of like getting married and having kids, and I feel like that was so much worse like when I was younger than it is nowadays, but it's definitely still there. Like that pressure to like have everything by a certain age is definitely still there, and then like the pressure of the biological clock ticking and, all of that. But it wasn't until I took those pressures and the societal conditioning and like literally stripped them away and then was able to take being in a relationship and being in a marriage or being, having kids, being a mom off of the pedestal in order to really stop making that mean anything about me. Like, because if I was to not do any of this work and then I was to get everything that I thought that I wanted, I definitely would have lost myself in that, in motherhood, in being a wife, because I didn't before this work know how to separate the two. I didn't know how to hold on to who I was as an individual and not make those labels my identity, right? Like I always use this analogy of like driving a bus. Like I'm Mikaela, I am driving the bus. I have a bunch of different things that are about me, like my labels, quote unquote labels, in the back of the bus. But I'm driving the bus and I'm an individual and I am myself. And the labels don't mean anything about me. They're just like cool little things that are also tied to who I am as a human, right? So when I stopped putting being in a relationship or a marriage or being a mom on a pedestal, that's when things really changed, because I stopped identifying with those things and I learned how to love myself just for being me, right? And also when we put things up on a pedestal and we are like really wanting them, then and we're coming that want is like coming from a place of lack and scarcity, like, oh, like it's almost unreachable, like it's never going to happen for me. And there was a time in my life where I didn't think that it was going to happen for me, right? And when I decided to take these things off a pedestal and get neutral, right? We've got to use the universal laws here. So I use the universal law of polarity here, the universal law of balance. And I was like, okay, I've got all of these things that I think are so great about being in a relationship and being in a marriage and being a mom. I have all of these incredible things about being those things, which, not to discredit them, they are all incredible, but like also there's equal parts good to the bad, bad to the good. Everything in Source's eyes is perfect and in balance, and we have to see those things in Source's eyes too. So that's why the universal law of polarity exists. And when I was able to get neutral around these things and having these things, not only was I taking it off of the pedestal and stopped making it mean anything about me, but I was also able to detach from the outcome of getting those things. Okay. Now, this is the universal law of detachment, and the universal law of detachment states that when you're able to stop being in this place of like, I need it. Like I think of the Lord of the Rings, like the with the ring, the little like troll guy. I don't remember his name because I'm really not a Lord of the Rings fan, but I think of him and like that's how I was with this. And when you are in that state of need, that is the opposite of magnetism. And it's just going to push out your desire or your manifestation further and further and further because you are just in such a state of like need and lack and scarcity. And that's not the energy that you want to be in if you are trying to call something in. Okay. I want to take a quick break in today's podcast episode to share something that I've been working on just for you ladies. We are officially done with the era of being the almost girl. You know what I mean? Almost chosen, almost committed to, almost good enough. And if that hits a nerve, good, because I've been there too, and I know how exhausting it could be. So here's the deal. I'm hosting a free masterclass called The Devotion Code. This is 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. No sugarcoating or manifestation fluff here. I'm showing you the exact shifts that pulled me out of situationships and cycles with men who wouldn't commit and into a relationship where I am fully chosen, adored, and engaged to my dream man. You're going to see why you've been stuck in the same patterns, how to finally break them for good, and what it actually takes to embody the woman who gets everything she wants in love and in life. This masterclass is for the woman who is tired of men who won't commit or keep her guessing. She knows she's meant to be pursued, adored, and fully chosen. She wants a love that lasts, not just butterflies for a season, craves the confidence, magnetism, and the security of being the one, and is ready to finally stop settling and step into her devoted woman energy. Inside of this class, you will learn the 5 shifts that take you from almost girl to fully chosen woman. You'll see why you keep attracting unavailable men and exactly how to stop the cycle. Unlock the energetics of being pursued, adored, and chosen without chasing. Experience a higher self-activation that anchors your chosen energy and helps you step into your higher self. Leave with journal prompts and practices to embody your dream woman identity immediately. Your dream man is out there, but attracting him and keeping him requires a different version of you. The woman who no longer chases, the woman who no longer settles, the woman who knows she is the one. That's the version you will meet inside of the Devotion Code. This is your sign to stop being the almost girl and start being the one. Go grab your spot now. The link is waiting for you in the show notes below. If you want a lasting love, you cannot afford to sit this one out. Let's get back into today's episode. So the next thing that I did and the next shift that I'll give you is began choosing myself and treating myself how I desired to be treated. Now, instead of thinking like, oh, I want a man to do this, I want a man to do this, I was like, well, I can do all of these things that I want a man to do for myself. And the moment that I began giving myself those things that I wanted from a man is the moment I started to become an energetic match for a man who did those things for me. Right. And an example of this, let's think of an example of this is I really desired a man to, plan dates and take me out on dates. Okay. Well, it wasn't until I started to pencil myself in and plan my own dates for myself and take myself out and buy myself the flowers that I then became an energetic match for men to plan the dates, to show up at the door, knock on the door with flowers in hand, tell me that I was beautiful. Why? Because I was an energetic match for that, because I was doing the same for myself and I was buying myself the flowers and I was taking myself out on the dates and I was telling myself how beautiful I was and I was doing the work to unconditionally fall in love with myself, right? All right. So that's the second shift. Another shift is let myself be supported instead of so hyper independent. I used to get be so hard on myself when I let people or when I had to ask for help. I was so hard on myself. And it wasn't until I shifted that perspective of like, I have to do everything on my own and I am that hyper independent. Like that was something that I wore a fucking medal on my neck around because I was like, I've always been able to take care of myself, and I know that I'm capable of taking care of myself, and I don't need no man. That was something that I said all the time. And I don't need anyone to take care of me because I've got this. And that was coming from such a wounded energy and a wounded feminine energy. And it was coming from a place of like trying to be strong because I've always been known as like, quote unquote, the strong one. And there's a place and a time for that. But that was coming, like I said, from a wounded feminine energy. So it wasn't until I shifted that wound and started to see the support as like just what it was, which was support and people who loved me and wanted to see me succeed and believed in me and like were there for me, either financially or not financially, like in any other way, shape, or form. And it wasn't until I allowed people to be there for me that then I was a energetic match for the type of support that I actually desire from a man. When you allow men, it is literally in their DNA to provide and to show up for you and to be that masculine energy, that you got to stop taking all the marbles. If you're taking all the marbles and like you're just like saying, no, I don't need help, like I'm good, I've got this, you're taking the marbles from them. They want to help you, they want to be there for you. So when you are offered help, accept it. Stop saying that you've got it all the time. If somebody wants to buy you lunch, let them. If somebody wants to buy you coffee, let them. If somebody wants to help you out by, paying a bill for you or whatever this month, let them. And then stop feeling like you owe them anything, because we don't want debt written on our creator field, which is a whole other topic for another day. But we don't want that, right? So there's another shift. Another shift, I'll give you guys one more, is kind of tying into the last one of being hyper independent, but learning to receive love without guilt or proving that you are deserving of that love. Like you are enough just for being you. You are enough just for being you. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not need to do in order to like receive love or receive anything. Like if a man wants to show up for you and just spoil the fuck out of you because he can, let him. Like let him. Don't feel like you owe him anything. And this doesn't just go for romantic relationships. This goes in life in general. Like we think about our parents and how they provide for us for so long when we're kids. We don't expect to give anything back when we're children. So like why from childhood to adulthood do we feel like when somebody does something nice for us that we owe them something? That's not the case. We don't need to do that. That's a limiting belief. And yeah, maybe it's nice to like obviously say thank you, but do not feel like you owe anyone anything, because that is just writing debt in your creator field. And when you have debt written in your creator field, you are an energetic match for debt. So take that for what it is. We don't want that. So now you know like the shifts, okay? You've got the scene, you've got what I was doing that was making me an energetic match for like the emotionally unavailable men, for the men who were not prioritizing me. And you've got like my past, okay? But I want to kind of like, and I gave you the shifts that I made in order to kind of begin to change my energy, change my frequency, change what I was energetically attracting into my reality. So, mind you, when I met Bryson, I was so fucking good with being single. And I was like, I just got done telling my friend Maggie that I wasn't dating anyone. I was totally happy being alone. I really love my house in Costa Mesa because I was living in Costa Mesa for a while. And 2 hours later, and I was at this cornhole tournament with my mom and my friend Maggie. My mom, it was just, all of it was very synchronous. There was a lot of synchronicities. There was a lot of like random things that led us to that cornhole tournament that night. But when I got there and I was like telling that to Maggie, and then literally we're just dancing, having a great time. And 2 hours later, I'm on the dance floor and Bryson and I lock eyes across the dance floor 3 times. When I see him the first time, I'm like, it'd be cool if he, if like I met him, but I'm not going to like go out of my way to meet him. So what happened was I just let the night go. And eventually he came up to me and he introduced himself, and the rest is history. And that whole situation, like I said, was living in Costa Mesa. So I was just home visiting family, and my mom just so happened to want to go to this random cornhole tournament, and we randomly met at this cornhole tournament. So I just think that that's really cool. And then when we did meet, we had all of these connections. Like we went to the same college and had a college class together. I don't remember this, but he sure as fuck does, which I thought was super cute. And then we also went to the same gym for like years, which he knew me from the gym. And funny fact, he would, I guess, talk, which he's going to kill me if he ever listens to this podcast episode, but this is just for between you and I. He would talk to his friends and be like, oh, Filar is at the gym today. Dead. Would call me by my last name. Anyways, I digress. But we went to the same gym for years. We took a college class together. We have so many mutual friends. It's crazy. And yeah, like we've just always been in each other's orbit, but we both had to learn, life lessons, and we had to become who we are now in order to be an energetic match for one another. And to like the timing was divine for sure. But yeah, like the person who Bryson met, when I met him, which I think I met him in August. It was right before my birthday's in September. So I met him like the month before I turned 31. And the person who he met is just like so different than the person who I was even at the beginning of the year that I turned 30. And I'm just so grateful that I met him at the time that I did. And the only reason that I met him at the time that I did was because I was ready. And you have to get to the point where you're like, I'm so good being alone. And you have to take the relationship and being in a romantic relationship off the pedestal and stop caring so much about it, literally, that all of a sudden it just lands in your lap. And I swear to God, that's just when it happens. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just the way that it works. Okay. It's when you least expect it. And everything was so different with Bryson and I. And what I mean by that is when I met him and then like we hung out, it was very like, he was just so I can't even explain it. He's just like my best friend, and he's so easy to talk to. And I never am afraid of him judging me. And it's just like this crazy shift of like meeting Bryson and compared to like any other man that I've ever dated. And I've dated a lot of men. I'm just going to be real with you guys. But everything was just so different with Bryson. And I remember like we hung out that night that we met. We ended up going out to the bars when we were done with the cornhole tournament, which the cornhole tournament had live music. And that's why we went, because my mom really wanted to watch the live music. So we were dancing and all the things and had a great time and drinking. And we went out to the bars afterwards, and we had a great time there. And I was with my friend Maggie. Like I said, my mom was also with us, LOL. And and we were just having a good time. And I look at my friend Maggie and I'm like, he's cute, right? Like, and she's like, yeah, no, he's cute. And I was like, all right, cool. So we exchanged numbers. And then like the next morning he hits me up, and well, no, I'm just going to be so for real with you guys. We went home together that night. I asked my friend Maggie, I'm like sweating telling this story. It's so real. But when we met and we went out that night, I remember asking my like, he's cute, right? I think I'm going to ask him to come home with me. And mind you, don't live in Ventura. Like I'm staying at my mom's house. My mom's fiance or boyfriend, whatever the fuck you want to call him, he's been with us for 11 years. So with us, like with my mom, I mean, it's a package deal. Anyways, I digress. So he is out of town for work, and Bryson, I'm like, hey, like, do you want to come home with me tonight? Mind you, like, we didn't hook up, like, we didn't do the deed. I had learned my lesson from that, and that's also just not where I was with my like journey at all. I had been celibate for at first it was 4 months, and then some things happened, and then it was like again, and anyway, so here we are again, and I was like, I'm not gonna do the deed tonight. So I told him, I was like, I want you to come home with me, but just because like I want to cuddle. Are you down to cuddle? That's what I told him, and he was like, I love to cuddle. And I was like, oh my God, like you're the best. And so he came home with me, and I asked my mom, like, Mom, can I bring this guy home with me? And she was like, yes. Yes, you can. My mom and I have a very interesting, really, it is a friendship. Like my mom is my best friend, and I love her to death. But she's always been a very good friend. I digress. So Bryson comes home with me. We sleep and cuddle together. We wake up in the morning, both hungover. And I look at him and I'm like, where do you live? Because he didn't have his truck. And I was like, I'll take you home. And he's like, okay. And he's like, I live, tells me where he lives. I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's a like a breakfast place right there. I want to get a michelada. And if you guys don't know past self Mikaela, she loves her micheladas. Like I still love a michelada here and there. I just don't drink as much as I used to. But it used to be like I would literally go out, and then I would wake up in the morning and be like, I need to have 3 micheladas to like level myself. It was crazy. Anyways, I digress. So I'm just completely different person. I'm pretty proud of myself, but this is then this, and I'm telling the story of then. So being 100% real with you guys. So he's like, well, I want to go with you. And I remember in that exact moment, I was so surprised that he wanted to come with me, because like, what do you mean you want to come with me? Like I was so detached from like it being anything, like anything between us going, like I was so good with being single. 1, 2, I was just like not even thinking about being in a relationship. And I was thinking that this was just like a fun little hangout situation. And I don't know, not thinking that he wanted to spend any more time with me. And he did. And I remember being like, what the fuck? Okay, sure, you can come with me to breakfast. So we go to breakfast. He pays for breakfast. Love him for that. And then I take him home, and I pull up to the house and I drop him off. And I remember looking at the house and be like, wow, this is like a really nice, clean, aesthetically pleasing home. And being like, okay, like, hope you have good, the reason I say that is because he lived with 2 roommates. All 3 of them are men. And that's not what's typical when you pull up to a house with knowing that he has 2 roommates, right? But it was very clean and aesthetically pleasing. Anyways, I digress. So I drop him off, and I go up the street because my dad actually lives up the street from him, which I thought was funny. And he is texting me like right away, and he's like, I had a really great time with you, and I would love to see you again. I'm actually going to sit on the couch and just like watch movies all day. If you get bored and want to come over, you can. And I'm like, what is happening? You guys, like, what is happening? And I'm like, no, like I'm going to spend time with my family. And this was like a proud moment here, because past Mikaela would have been like, oh, let me turn around and like just come hang out with you on the couch all day. But the new Mikaela was like, no, I'm going to go and do what I said that I was going to do, because I'm devoted to myself. Okay. Notice the pattern. And I go and spend time with my family. And then all of a sudden, like my family just like has things to do. So they leave. And I'm, like I said, visiting from Costa Mesa. And I look at my phone and I'm like, I mean, I've got time. If I leave right now, I'm going to hit a bunch of traffic. So I'm just going to go back over there and watch a movie with him. No harm, no foul. So we go there, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching a movie, and it's just like we have been friends forever. And the house on the inside is also very clean and aesthetically pleasing, which was very pleasing. And yeah, so that was that. And like, you guys, the rest, like after that, I went home because I went back to Costa Mesa. And ever since that weekend, there wasn't a weekend that I didn't see him. Like he always, like, there was always, actually, that's a lie. The first like 2 months, put any, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, this is really nice. Like, but I was, like I said, just totally fine being on myself. Plus, also, I live in fucking Costa Mesa. So I think my birthday hits. So I met him in the end of August, and then my birthday is September 17th. So meet him. So we're texting, calling back and forth here and there, and he's continuously making an effort and not letting up. And I invite him to my house for my birthday, the night after my birthday, because I went out with my girlfriends the night of my birthday. And I was like, we're going to brunch the next morning if you would like to come. So he ends up driving out to come see me, pays for me and my friends breakfast. And then my friends go home, and Bryson is like, what do you want to do? And we end up spending the entire day together doing whatever I wanted to do. We ended up doing a cold plunge in the ocean. We went and had a bunch of fun, like downtown or like in Newport area on the beach, on the promenade. And we just had the best time. And after that, I was like, okay, I think there might actually be something here. And I really love how he just has like stayed consistent, right? And so everything was just different with Bryson. And I was also there was also other guys who were like texting me, messaging me, but like after the birthday, I think it was, I just like told them no. Like I stopped talking to anybody else and I started just focusing on Bryson. And I kept Bryson at an arm's distance until November. And mind you, we met the end of August. So September, October, November. It wasn't until we didn't make it official until like the middle of November, and November 19th to be exact, I think, or 16th. I don't know, one of those, 6-9 or whatever. Anyways, but we really like took things slow, and that was on my end because I, one, didn't want to lose myself in the relationship. Two, we were doing long distance. I wanted to make sure that he was who he said he was as well, which was like another thing that I had like taken from past lessons. And because in my past, like the relationship that I was in prior, he basically was like I said, he just love bombed the fuck out of me. And then like when we did end up moving in together, he turned into a completely different person and treated me so poorly and made me really like just feel like I was worthless, and just kicked me out like I was nothing, and like our relationship was nothing. And that was really hurtful. So going into a new relationship after that, I'm not going to say have a wall up around my heart, because I did a lot of work around that. And I was like purposefully living with an open heart, because I'm not going to allow my past relationships to dictate how I move through my future. And also, I was like, I just want this next relationship. Like I had it in my mind that this next relationship that I actually take seriously is going to be the relationship that I'm going to be in for the rest of my life. Like I'm going to marry that person. And so, that obviously means a lot and is special. And I took my time to get to know this person before actually committing to him. And that killed him. And I think it also made him want me more, which is a whole other thing that I will get into in future episodes pretty soon. But you guys, the reason that I was who I was and stayed true to who I said I wanted to be, and the reason that I was an energetic match for a man who treated me so well and like really prioritized me and like would literally drop anything to do whatever I wanted and and be wherever I wanted him to be, is because of the way that I began to treat myself and the way that I healed my past shit. Okay. a lot of us live with closed hearts, and a lot of us have a perception around men and around dating because of our past. And that doesn't help our situation. That only makes it worse, because whatever you believe to be true is your truth. So if you believe that all men are trash, you're going to continuously attract men who are trash. If you are stuck in a cycle of meeting guys who just are not the one, I like ask yourself, what are your beliefs? What are your beliefs? What do you believe about men? What do you believe about relationships? What do you believe you are worthy of? What do you believe about yourself? Right? These are really important questions to ask yourself. So now you guys know kind of like a little bit more in depth around Bryson and I's story. And I want to like go back to reflections as far as like meeting these narcissistic, emotionally unavailable, and love bombing men. Like I want to, because like I was attracting these actually, and men who don't prioritize me. So these 4 types, and sometimes all 4 of the type would be in the same person, but there's an energetic reason that I was attracting these. So emotionally unavailable men. It's not because you're broken. It's not because your picker is bad. Any of these. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you need to be fixed. It's not because you have a bad picker. It's not because all men are trash. Like that, none of that is the fucking ultimate truth. It's because of something going on in your energy. So what's going on in your energy if you are consistently attracting emotionally unavailable men is that you are not seeing how your emotions are the hottest fucking thing since sliced bread. You are not owning your emotions without any shame. You are not allowing them to come up as they come through. When it comes to narcissistic men, it's because you are actually stuck in your own victim mentality. When it comes to men who do not prioritize you, it's because you are not prioritizing yourself in one or more areas of life. You are not committing and doing the things that you say that you are desiring to do. And if you are getting love bombed, which essentially is, if you don't know what this is, it is when somebody is giving you all of them, like they are consistently like just basically all up in your fucking business and pursuing you like no tomorrow. And then all of a sudden a flip switch, they get what they want, they have you right under their thumb, and then they start to change, and they slowly but surely begin to take everything about you that you love and make it seem like it's not good enough. That's because there's a part of you that feels like you are not good enough. Okay. So I want you to do a little self-reflection and ask yourself, what patterns are you seeing? What cycles are you seeing in the men that you are attracting into your life? And what is it trying to show you? What lesson are you supposed to learn? Maybe there is ask yourself, like, is there a past relationship that I'm still holding on to and maybe not seeing my part in it? Or maybe I'm taking that past relationship and I'm bringing it into future relationships. Like, that's not fair to the person that you are in this new relationship with, right? If we are acting a certain way or being a certain way because of quote unquote being hurt in the past, that's not going to allow us to move forward in our new relationship with things going smoothly. It's just not. We're gonna fucking self-sabotage shit, and we don't want to do that. Okay. I did that for a really long time. I don't want you to do it. And that's why I'm here on this podcast sharing my story. And that's why I invite you to join my free masterclass. It's called The Devotion Code, 5 Shifts to Manifest and Keep Your Dream Man. And I am really excited about this masterclass. It's going to be so fun. If this story has resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, I'm teaching the exact 5 shifts that help me manifest and keep my dream relationship inside of this free masterclass, the Devotion Code. You'll leave knowing how to break the cycle for good. So save your seat. The link is in the show notes below. And that masterclass is going to lead into my new 13-week course. It's called Devoted, where I help you step into the hot, rich, and in love version of yourself. I'm going to give all the details at the end of the Devotion Code. So buckle up. It's going to be such a fun ride. I can't wait to share all of the things that I have learned with you over the last 33 years. I hope to see you inside. That's all I've got for you today. Chat soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. If this lit something up inside of you, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. We have new episodes coming out every week. If you love what you heard, drop a 5-star rating and review or share it with a family member or friend so that this podcast can grow and help more women rise. For more on self-love, self-image, intuition, and manifestation, come hang out with me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela Filar. The links are all in the show notes below. And as always, we will chat soon.